Today, we're going to talk about the Beidou navigation satellite system of China and, why we, the United States, haven't really gone after it like we did with Huawei. It's a fair question, right? I mean, think about it. China's Beidou navigation satellite system is already providing services to over 200 countries and regions. That's pretty much blown up the global monopoly that GPS used to have. And yet, even when they finished the global network for Beidou, we didn't see the kind of aggressive moves we've made in other areas. So, yeah, it's kind of weird at first glance, but let me tell you, there's a reason for it, and it's not because we don't care. Actually, we care a lot. We're just in a position where, well, let's say things aren't as straightforward as they might seem. Why Beidou matters so much. Let's set the stage here. Since the Cold War, we've been leaders in, pretty much every critical technology, GPS being one of them. Back in the Gulf War in 1991, we showed the world what GPS could do. It wasn't just about navigation, it was a game changer for warfare. GPS-guided weapons gave us, like this insane precision. We crushed Iraq, which at the time had one of the strongest militaries in just 42 days. It was like having a superpower that no one else had. After that, everyone else started realizing how dependent they were on our GPS system. And in 1993, we gave a pretty clear demonstration of why that might be a problem. You remember the Yinhe cargo ship incident? That Chinese vessel in the Indian Ocean. We just flipped the GPS switch off in that area, and suddenly the ship was adrift. No navigation, nothing. It made it super easy for us to board and inspect. It was effective for us, but a wake-up call for them. So, what did China do? They decided, all right, we're not going to let this happen again. By 1994, they had committed to building their own satellite navigation system, what we now call Beidou. But, building something like this isn't just about putting satellites in space, it's about making sure those satellites can stay up there and actually work, even if someone tries to mess with them. That's where things get tricky. If we or anyone else wanted to, we could just shoot down their satellites, right? I mean, we've done it before. So, China had to think about how to prevent that. And what they did was, honestly, pretty smart. They developed anti-satellite missiles. In 2007, they tested one. They blew up one of their old weather satellites in orbit. And yeah, that definitely got our attention. Suddenly, we weren't the only ones who could take out satellites. It was a big deal, because it meant if we ever tried to disable Beidou, they could retaliate by targeting our GPS satellites. And, let's face it, GPS is critical for us, for military, civilian, and economic purposes. Why we can't sanction Beidou like Huawei? Okay, so if we can take out their satellites, why not just sanction Beidou? Like we did with Huawei. Here's where it gets interesting. We can't. I mean, it's not that we don't want to, it's that there's literally no way to do it effectively. Huawei once relied on a lot of Western technology, chips, software, and so on. That gave us leverage, but Beidou? Nope. They built it all themselves. Over 26 years, with more than 300,000 scientists and engineers working on it, they figured out everything, from satellite links to high-precision atomic clocks. Today, every single core component of Beidou is made in China. There's nothing for us to restrict, no supply chains to cut off. And, it's not like they had an easy ride, they also faced massive hurdles. For example, back in the early 2000s, they couldn't even buy the atomic clocks they needed. The Western companies that could sell them either refused or sold them junk. So, what did they do? They just said, fine, we'll make our own. And they did. Actually, here's a wild story about how close Beidou came to failing. To secure their satellite frequencies, China had to broadcast a signal by 2007. No signal, no frequencies, it's that simple. But they were way behind schedule because they couldn't get the atomic clocks working. With less than 2 years to go, they doubled down, worked around the clock, and finally got their first functional atomic clock into space in 2006. Even then, they barely made the deadline. The first Beidou satellite started broadcasting its signal just hours before the deadline. I mean, talk about cutting it close. But they pulled it off. From that point on, it was like, Dominoes falling. They kept launching satellites, building out their network, and now Beidou is fully operational worldwide. Now, let's talk about what makes Beidou stand out. Indeed, it's a GPS competitor, but it's got some unique tricks up its sleeve. For one, it has this short message communication feature. That's something GPS doesn't have. It means if you're in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, you can still send a text. This feature saved lives during the Wenchuan earthquake in 2008, when traditional communication networks were down. Rescue teams used Beidou to send updates from disaster zones, and it's not just for emergencies. Fishing boats use it to send updates from remote waters, and it's already saved thousands of lives in maritime rescue operations. Then there's the precision timing. Beidou's atomic clocks are like insanely accurate. That's critical for things like high-speed trains, which rely on precise timing to operate safely. Financial markets also use Beidou for time-stamping transactions. If those timestamps are off by even a fraction of a second, you're looking at potential losses in the billions. Beidou isn't just about navigation, it's deeply integrated into global infrastructure, transportation, agriculture, disaster relief, you name it. And it's not just a civilian system. The military implications are huge. It gives China the ability to operate independently of GPS, which is a big deal in any kind of conflict scenario. For us, it means we're no longer the sole provider of global navigation services. It's a challenge to our dominance for sure. But it's also a reminder that the tech race isn't something we can ever take for granted. So, why haven't we sanctioned Beidou? Well, like I said, it's not about lack of desire. It's about lack of options. Beidou is built to be independent, and it's backed by a level of resilience and innovation that honestly is impressive, even if we don't like the implications. At the end of the day, Beidou represents a shift in the balance of power in space and technology.